Tonight we have two special guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and one of them has to set up a prop. So we'll start with Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Mueller, and I'm glad to be here and
Thanks
talk a
for
little
coming.
history tonight.
Good.
You know more than a little history. You're sort of our unofficial town historian.
I say either local historian or local yokel, one of those two.
It was very good, period. Yeah.
So what had happened a long time ago is bringing us to the point where we want to talk about it now.
Well, we do two things. We're going to talk about French history a little bit, and we're going to talk about Civil War history, which is one's about 150 years and the other one's 200 and something years.
Older than we are. Something is.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So I wanted to talk first about a week from Saturday on the 23rd. We're going to do a Civil War living history camp and a reenactment. We do a little street theater. Every other year we do the federal troops taking the money out of our courthouse. And then on the off years we do a reenactment of several things. One of them is federal troops taking over our courthouse in 1864 and didn't pay us for it until about 1907. It took a long time for the federal government to give us.
Oh, they didn't pay any interest in it.
No, and they didn't give us what we asked for either. So it will be on the courthouse lawn, just on 3rd Street, and we're going to close off the street so you can stand or sit, bring your lawn chairs, sit across the street under the awnings on 3rd. And we'll open our camp at 10 o'clock, and about 10:15 we'll start having some Civil War music. Becky Millinger, John Weekly, and Marcia Schaefer will be playing music. And then at 11 o'clock we start our reenactment, and the soldiers show up, and we have a dialogue. We also talk about the imposition of martial law, the formation of the local 78th Enrolled Missouri Militia, and some special rules that they passed that the taverns couldn't sell liquor to the members of the 78th Enrolled Missouri Militia, most of whom were Germans.
I would guess that was a very unpopular move.
Very, very unpopular. And also we'll talk about some of the people that were called out as Confederate sympathizers, and you will be surprised at the really upstanding citizens of St. Genevieve that were called Southern sympathizers. There will be names like Valley and Rozier and stuff on there, and so it's kind of an interesting thing. It's a little bit of street theater, and it's with history mixed in with it.
I mean, let me ask you a question. I had always heard that this was kind of a split town. Was it because of what happened that you're going to be reenacting, or was that just the way people felt?
No, I think if you look, the French, were during their time period, and the Spanish, they enslaved people. Mm-hmm. Most of the Americans that came into St. Genevieve after the Louisiana Purchase ended up in the southwest part of the county that we called New Tennessee, Ulam and Kaufman and stuff, and those people were predominantly from Kentucky and Tennessee, so they were enslavers. And then you had the Germans on the other side that really didn't believe in that. Most of them were 1848ers that had been through a revolution in southern Germany, and so they weren't really interested in the South part of it. So I think those things were always here, and it really wasn't what came later in the Civil War, because we really didn't have battles here. We did have some incidents. Mr. Pickle, after whom Pickle Springs is named, was at his house one night, and a bunch of Southern rebels called him out and ended up shooting him and killing him.
Oh my!
So that's one of the few little things that happened. And we had bushwhackers like Sam Hildebrand. His brother had been thrown in our jail for horse thievery, and a mob broke him out. I think they hung him, and that's what started Sam Hildebrand on his multi-year Civil War escapades. And he ranged all the way from over on Big River to Illinois. So
Is there any information, because there were Black people in this community, and
Oh, most definitely.
some of them were enslaved, and some of them had become free through one kind of path or another. So during the Civil War, what were they doing?
Well, some of them stayed here and worked on farms, and others signed up. And actually, one of the things that happened afterwards,
Fought with the Union Army.
fought with the Union Army, and the federal government paid people for their service afterwards. So, yeah, and there were African American troops also. We celebrated one around here, and there's I think it's the 50th. They were called the Colored Infantry or something, and so we know some of the people that were in that.
That's a piece of our history that we don't talk a whole lot about here.
Well, I think many times, like in our during the colonial period, we would have almost 35% African Americans in here, and we had freed people, freed blacks way back. I mean, that's it. We've always had that. It was something under the French and Spanish that was allowed, and so that was pretty common. Not common in that it's in hundreds, but we have some very famous people that were freed, even before the Civil War, like Pelagie of the Amaro House had been freed, and Clarice. So, and that's kind of in that period. The rules or the laws concerning enslavement varied from the French with the Code Noir to the Spanish and the Code of the Indies to when the Americans came in, it was more severe than those other ones. Slavery is never good, but we have to study it to see what happened.
Well, it's so important to think, sometimes I think we think of the Civil War as, okay, there were those Northerners and there were those Southerners, and there have been some great movies made about this. And I think that sometimes it's easy to forget what some of the underlying causes of that were, and the fact that there were African American people in communities like ours who were in the middle of all of that with two different sides and two very different attitudes toward what the role of people of color ought to be in society.
Well, we always wonder what happens when somebody from Africa, when it was when they came directly over here, came to this French community and could hear various Canadian French, and German and English. It must have been really unusual to communicate. So, but it is part of our history, and we need to remember that. We need to study it. And our group, the Lieutenant Colonel J. Felix St. James, Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, we try to educate people on that. Our camp has done work at schools. We go to Marion Cliffs. We put on talks. We're going to have one coming up pretty soon on Ulysses S. Grant and political cartoons.
Where is that going to be and when?
It's going to be at the Oris in our September meeting. We'll have stuff out for that coming up. So I'm sure you'll probably be interested in that.
Yes, I will be.
So we'll do our reenactment from about 11 to 11:45, and then our camp also has a drummer and a fifer, and they're going to play some Civil War songs after that, and then you can come over. We will have an exhibit of Civil War items that soldiers had. In camp life, we can talk about that. We're going to have a cannon. One of our members has a cannon. And you can talk about being a cannoneer. And we also have a list of over 800 St. Genevieve people that were on the Union side, and we have, 150 that were on the Confederate side. So you come out, maybe you'll find your ancestor on there. It's just kind of a fun day. And
are there going to be any activities at the cemetery? Because I remember that there have been in the past some marking of the loss of Confederate and Union lives, and there being people in our
we also always do a commemoration of J. Felix St. James, who was a St. Jim, but he changed his name to St. James, and he was a lawyer. He was the first to volunteer from here. He got killed at the Battle of Shiloh. Our camp's named after him, and we always do an honor guard in his memory on his death day. And sometimes we play him in our spirit reunion. Our camp still celebrates Decoration Day. Decoration Day was started by the Grand Army of the Republic, the first veterans organization in the United States, to remember Civil War Union soldiers. And it was formed by John A. Logan from Murfreesboro, Illinois, which is he was the commander of the Grand Army of the Republic. And he says May 30th is a day to strew flowers upon our departed graves of our veterans. And later on, it became both the North and the South. Yeah. And we do that on Decoration Day, even if Memorial Day is on a different day.
About how many people are involved in the group that puts this all together?
We have 21 members. No, I guess we're higher than that now. We have 24 this year. Several of the ladies, we don't have an auxiliary, some units do, but they also come out and help when we have our events. There's a camp over in DeSoto, the Fletcher camp, which is also very active. They're coming over to help us out, and some of the ladies are coming in their Civil War outfits, and so it'll be a good time. One of the things we like audience participation. So we encourage people to yell if they don't like the Union people, or Yankees go home, that sort of thing, or if you're going to support them. So it's that part.
Is there a big sign that says no current political activity allowed in this space?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's a few comments. John Carroll one time made a few comments, and Gary Shield arrested him, and he never forgave. He always blamed him. But it's some fun, and it's history, but in a good way.
Very good.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is another history thing. The Foundation for Restoration of St. Genevieve started doing history conferences back about 1982, I think was the first big one. That was probably a stupendous one. Some really high-level academicians from around the country came to that. Bernie Schramm was instrumental in getting that started. And it went on to about 1993 and then dropped off, and we picked it back up in about 2006, and I've been doing it ever since, with the exception of 1 year for COVID and a couple other years. But we got a pretty good lineup this year. We're doing a joint conference. There's another group called the Center for French Colonial Studies, not to be confused with the Center for French Colonial Life or French Colonial America, which we have in town. Center for French Colonial Studies is dedicated to studying French history in the mid-Mississippi Valley. We have archaeologists, anthropologists, history teachers, just historians, linguists that study our area and try to promote that French history. And a number of us are on both boards or in both organizations. And so this year, they really like coming to St. Genevieve. They were here, I think, 2 or 3 years ago on their own conference. And then I think in 16 we had a joint conference before. But so we got a lineup this year. The history conference is going to be on September 27th. It's a Saturday. And it's going to be in the Oris. Dick Reminger has been graciously let us use the Oris for this. He's a great platinum sponsor for us. Why I wanted to talk tonight is that registration for this conference is now online. We've gotten into the modern age that you can register
even as historians.
Yeah, even as historians. The Center for French Colonial Studies is actually handling the registration. You can go to www.historicstgen.org, and there's a link on the front page, or you can go to their website, www.frenchcolonialstudies, all one word, .org. And or you can also, we even have on our flyer a QR code, so you can take your phone and register on your phone.
Very good.
So the conference will be on Saturday, but we always have a reception on Friday night. That's going to be from 5 to 7, and it'll also be in the Oris. And if you register for the conference, that's complimentary. Also on Friday, the foundation is going to offer a guided tour of the church, the cemetery, and the Jacques Board House. And we'll have a few spirits in the cemetery to like our spirit reunion thing. So that's going to go on. So on Saturday, just talk a little bit about the speakers. We got Dr. Will Thompson, who's from the University of Memphis. He's spoken at our conference a number of times. He's really into old mines. That's his main area of research.
He's delightful.
He is.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him and having some conversations with him. And he's very, very smart and knowledgeable and also a very nice man.
He's the president of the Organization of French Teachers in the United States this year.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. So he's really good. And he's going to talk about another guy that wasn't on our side of the river, but other than to mine lead, but was really on the other side, Philippe Renault, who came here in 1720, 1721. He got a grant from the French government to mine lead. So he was up on the Merrimack, the Big River, mining lead. He had a little village even called St. Philippe on the other side. But Dr. Thompson's going to talk about his journey from France all the way over here to the Illinois country. And he was here till about 1740, never really made a lot of money, and went back to France. But we still have a little town across the river that's called Renault. And so we have a little memory of him. The next speaker is Michael McCafferty, who is from Indiana State University, and he's a linguist. He studies the Miami Native American tribes and several others, but he's going to talk about the meaning and analysis of the tribal name Cahokia. You know, when we think about Cahokia, we think about Cahokia Mounds. That's not where Cahokia came from. And he's going to talk about where that word came from. So I think that's going to be interesting, a little bit different than the...
That's intriguing.
I think you should like that one too. Yeah. And then Sharon Person, who has written several books with Carl Eckberg, Dawn Light Woman, and St. Louis Rising, and she's written a number of articles. She's a wonderful researcher. I've worked with her for a number of years. She's into church records about as much as I am, and really good at it. But she's going to talk about what's in a name in 1787 St. Genevieve. She's working on a part of a book that's going to come out soon, all about the 1766 and 1787 census of St. Genevieve and the people in it. It's going to really be a boon for genealogists as when that comes out. But she's going to. There were 5 women that were head of households in the 1787 census, and she's going to talk about 2 of them: Catherine Allemande and Elizabeth Dacheroux. So one was, I think, a free woman of color, and the other one was a French descendant.
Those are stories worth hearing.
Yes, yeah. We've really gotten into, there's so many good records here that still need to be explored. You and I talked a little bit about AI at the beginning. That is opening up so much for researchers, at least to go where to look. Mm-hmm. Just for instance, Jacques Bohr's a guy I like to research, and I knew he was in Philadelphia. Found out he owned land there. And he bought it from a guy named Charles Gregoire, and he sold it to a guy named Francois Badeau. All 3 of them ended up living within a block of each other here at St. Genevieve.
Oh, my.
So those little connections that we wouldn't have been able to find 10 years ago, we get them now. So it's really helping us. Then we'll have lunch, and lunch will be provided. When you go online to register, you can pick what lunch you want. But after lunch, Dr. Stephen Hoffman from SEMO, he's a history professor down there, historic preservation. SEMO's been running a field school, historic preservation, since the 1990s here.
They've been here for a long time.
Long time. Frank Nichols probably started it, and then, my memory is getting bad. Bonnie Stepanoff had it for a while, and Stephen's been doing it. But he's going to talk about how their school uses this field school and St. Genevieve structures and organizations to teach people about historic preservation, dealing with the public, dealing with the buildings themselves and that sort of thing. They do everything from measuring to archaeology to photography, all the skills that they're going to need when they go out. So that's going to be a little different than pure history, but it's helping us preserve the history for the future. Let's see, and then after that, we have Rebecca Ramey, who's going to school on her, I think she's starting her PhD at SIU Edwardsville, and she's going to talk about the lost city of Kaskaskia. So, Kaskaskia was thriving until 1880 when the river cut behind it and destroyed it, and it eventually destroyed the whole town. And they eventually moved the church to the present-day Kaskaskia. And she's going to talk about using archival records, GIS, archaeological investigations about what's still left of the first capital of Illinois. We see cornfields, and she sees other stuff, under the ground. Then
we're assuming that everybody who's out there listening knows where Kaskaskia is, but we do have some people who watch us from other places. So the island is to the south of here, and can you talk a little bit more about Kaskaskia for a minute?
Well, Kaskaskia was the second village founded by the French. Cahokia, 1699, Kaskaskia, 1703. But it was actually about 7 miles up the Kaskaskia River. It was not on the Mississippi. And there was a trail that came across that kind of peninsula to the old town of St. Genevieve. Well, as we know how the Mississippi River is all too well, it changes courses. In 1870s, the river was down at Front Street. And in 1880, it cut off behind Kaskaskia and destroyed the town. It also moved the river away from downtown St. Genevieve, so we just had a little slough left that they could bring boats in when the water was high. And so they eventually, as it got destroyed, they moved the church to the present site of Kaskaskia, which is really on the Missouri side of the Mississippi. And you can kind of see where that old channel was. It went very close to St. Mary.
Yes.
And it's kind of an interesting thing. Lafayette visited Kaskaskia in 1825. He didn't stop here, unfortunately. You had the Pierre Menard home. He was the first lieutenant governor of Illinois, and I hope people don't think that history's boring. There's some really neat stuff that happens, and things that affect us, not only people, but Mother Nature affects us a lot over the years, and how things resolve.
But this kind of conference is the kind of thing that I think can bring it to life for people. And I've been here 40 years, and I admit that I knew nothing about the history of this area. I knew that the French had been in St. Louis. That was pretty much the extent of it. I was interested in other kinds of things. And there's so much rich history here, and there's so much still to be learned about this community. And I think it speaks to local people a lot that there are people here who care and who are trying to uncover those additional stories.
And we get excited when we find new stuff. I mean, it's our church records go back to the 1759, our civil records to 1757, and there's no place else in Missouri that you can go back that far. And so that's really, really nice. And I think we have some wonderful houses here, but we have wonderful stories of the people that lived in them. And that's what is really fun to research and talk about. Abigail Scott is our last speaker, and she's going to talk about, her title is something, Delaunay's Transatlantic Lie, a French con artist in Missouri. He actually took a band of Osage Native Americans to France and displayed them all over in France. And then he went bankrupt and left them in France. Oh. And this is kind of the story of them over there and coming back here. So another kind of an international mid-Mississippi Valley connection that we don't normally think about, of Native Americans going over to the royal court of France to show off what they were. The Osage were wonderfully tall people. They
Yes.
were magnificent
Yes.
looking people. And so,
The Sacagawea story, I think, has her going over. No, it's not Sacagawea. It's the one who went over to France, not France, to England.
yeah, I think there's several stories.
Yeah, there's several stories like that. So it's true. That actually did happen.
Yes, yes. So that's the conference, and it will open the doors of the Oris at 8, and the conference starts at 9, and we'll be done by 4. And that evening, we're going to have a banquet in the Oris. It's a separate function that you sign up for. And so it's a chance to get together with people that love St. Genevieve, love our area, love history, and you get to meet people from all over the country, actually.
And you don't have to be an historian.
No.
And you don't have to be an expert. So people who just love stories
Right.
are absolutely welcome.
It's been a wonderful opportunity to meet other people that love the same things that we love, and that you form lifelong relationships with these people, and some of them come back year after year after year. And it's not all academicians talking. Some of our most wonderful talks have been by local historians, independent researchers. We all have things that we like to research and talk about.
I have completely monopolized him. Any questions?
No.
I have a soft spot for the history that happened here and that you all are looking for, because I believe in stories, and I think of history. A lot of people think of history as something that you had to learn in school. You had to memorize dates and you had to do those kinds of things. But history is really the stories about people.
Yes, you've hit the nail on the head. And we have wonderful architectural treasures. But the people and the stories of the people that lived in those houses. And we had so many wonderful stories that are documented, and we can use the records to tell their story, like Pelagie, Amaro, and Clarice, and Jackie Board, and Henry Breckenridge, the little boy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I walk, I live in the historic district, so I get to walk the street at night, and I feel Henry Breckenridge walking up to church like he wrote in the book. The house he was in here in 1793, still here. So
those of you who want to know more about things like Henry Breckenridge should get in touch with some of the people who are active here. Foundation is very active, and you don't have to be an historian to be a member. You just have to pay your dues.
Yeah, they're very reasonable.
There are many ways of looking at history, I think, and we have some people in this community who are very talented when it comes to sharing our stories, and they are our stories. If you live here, these stories are your stories, as well as all of the historians and all of the people who lived here 100 or 200 years ago. We all get to lay some claim to being maybe the next chapter.
Yeah, we hope 200 years from now they're talking about us. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we also had for many years the Project Pioneers, which are studying the families. That's been a remarkable history of people here in St. Genevieve.
Yeah.
And they keep expanding that, and you see the interactions between families. And
I think we're assuming that everybody who may be watching knows what that is.
well, I'm trying to remember when it started, probably about 1990. I'm trying to think. It was in about 2000. And each year they pick a French family name and a German family name, and they have family members develop genealogy charts for those families. And we've also done some African American families over the years. And most of them are out in the library. I don't think all of them are, but you can go out and research there.
And the research, some of it that I've seen, is very good. It's good research and the stories are wonderful. And those families are celebrated, one French family and one German family, usually every year at Jour de Fête. So if you missed it this year, it's not too late to go next year and find out who those families are. It's always kind of a
I
surprise.
think it was the Geilers and the Dufours maybe this year.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Not related to the Dufours, but I am related to the Geilers. As most Germans are, we're all interrelated. It was Mrs. Trimmer, who teaches German at the Valley, asked me to talk to her students about the club, or their club, about where the Germans came from. And I picked one of I asked her who all the students were, and I looked in my genealogy file because I studied the Germans. 22 kids were all related to each other. Some were seventh cousins. And they were all related to me.
Oh, my
Oh, that's
goodness.
amazing. And a little spooky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, seventh cousins, eighth cousins. So, yeah, this place is, we go about our daily business and we walk these streets, and there is a special charm about St. Genevieve that
Yes.
is here, that's been here for a long time. We're a mix of cultures. We're not purely French. We're not purely German or African American or Native American. A lot of us I have cousins that are descended from Marie Ruenza, a famous Native American woman in Kaskaskia. So we have all come together in this time, this place, and we have a wonderful past.
That's a terrific place to end.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We very much appreciate
Another-
you coming. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
Another thing that I think is amazing is the 100 Century Farms. The Century Farms that they honor every year.
Yes,
Yeah.
at one time, my great-great-great-grandfather had the oldest one in 1838, I believe. It's been in the same family since then, it still is. But I think there's one in the county that may be older than that. But that's another, in this day and age, speaking my age, when I was growing up, families kind of stayed together in the same communities.
Right.
Now they're all, like all our families are all over the United States, and you don't have that passing down the land from one
Right.
generation to the other.
Like it used to, yeah. That's why I think it's so amazing, because of the generations that kept it that long.
Yeah.
Or kept the farms that long.
Well, if you also can join the Foundation for Restoration of St. Genevieve. We do a number of events during the year: French Festival,
Right.
King's Ball. We do a couple of house tours a year, the Spirit Reunion, and also with these Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. You don't have to have a Union Civil War ancestor to join. You can be a full member if you have, but you can become an associate member and still participate in everything else. We allow Confederates in if they want to.
That they're always very entertaining and very accurate in terms of their depiction of what life must have been like.
I don't think we know how bad it could be. I happened to be down at Vicksburg, Mississippi for the rededication of the Missouri Monument, and I was in my full wool uniform. It was 95 degrees and about 92% humidity, and I don't know how they did it. More people died of disease than of wounds in the Civil War.
Yeah. We will have you come back and talk about that some other time.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure always.
Yeah. So if you want to go over the dates again.
Okay.
For both events, yeah.
Okay, the Living History Civil War Camp and Reenactment is next week from this Saturday. It's August 23rd, and it'll start at 10 o'clock. The camp is there until 2. The reenactment starts at 11 o'clock. The History Conference is on September 27th, and it will be from the talks will be from 9 to 4 p.m. that day, but there'll be other events on Friday evening and a dinner on that Saturday evening. Registration's online now, If you send in a check by mail, it's made out to the Center for French Colonial Studies, so, which is kind of strange if you're from St. Genevieve, but they're handling all that part of the finances.
That's right. And the reenactment's going to be on 3rd Street.
On 3rd Street, right in front of the courthouse.
Okay.
You're very welcome to stay if you'd like to.
I've always liked
Thank
to hear
you
what
so
it's going to
much.
say.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Lance.
Well, I mean-
You want to introduce yourself and tell them where you're at now?
Well, I might have a story here for you. So, well, this is the first time ever doing this, and it is history too. So, the first time I'm putting on a concert in Perryville, not in St. Gen, but it ties to St. Genevieve though. So, what's that?
You're,
Inflatable. We'll go to him later.
okay.
So anyway, I'm bringing the band Green Jello to Perryville. It's a 90s band that had a big hit song, The Three Little Pigs, was on Casey's Top 40 a long time ago and stuff. And whenever I was...
Not long enough to go for us.
Well, right. So anyway, how this whole thing kind of got started was Charles, who you know, Charles Drost, when he painted me when I got backstage with the band Tool, the lead singer from Green Jello had contacted me and said it was really cool that you got painted up and that Tool brought you backstage and stuff. So we kind of started chatting back and forth a little bit, you know. And since I had always wanted to do my own haunted house and been in the haunted house industry since 2015, and the last 2 years I did something with the 4-H group and put on a haunted trail, haunted hayride and stuff for them. So I wanted to do my own thing and, making my own haunted house, not work for somebody else, but do it my own thing, the way I had in mind. Because, I've worked with enough of them for the last 10 years with Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare, the ones up in St. Louis, and the ones in Cape, and I worked at the Spirit Halloween store in Cape, too. So I took this idea, and I'm going to have Green Jello, fly them in from Hollywood to play, and it's going to be at the American Legion in Perryville. And the American Legion Hall, which nobody, they use for weddings and stuff a lot of the time. Instead, I'm going to deck it out into a haunted house.
Oh, wow.
So all my animatronics, props, and other inflatables and stuff are all going to be there. So I wanted to do the haunted house thing first, kind of by itself. I thought, is there enough people going to come out for it? Is it going to be a big enough talk about it? What could I what could I do to kind of make everybody come in, can check this thing out. So I thought about the Green Jello thing, and I thought, what if I flew them in, put on a concert like I've always wanted to do anyway, and then put on my haunted house too on top of it. So I took all my ingredients from the haunted house industry and spirit and concerts and VIP and put this idea together, and then talked to Bill, man speaker from Green Jello, and did the deal, and they're flying in the day before the show on the 12th. And since I'm a substitute teacher, and whenever I was in middle school and stuff, looking up to Hollywood type stuff was always the coolest thing to do, and to kind of feel that would be always so awesome. So I talked with Bill, and he said he would have been a teacher if he wouldn't have actually went to Hollywood and became a rock star. I said, well, what if we brought you in the day before and I took you to school with me? So he's on board. So St. Gen Middle School, on the 12th, him and the bassist from Green Jello will be with him too. We're going to go to school up here, rock the kid, have fun with some kids for a little bit, and kind of talk about Hollywood dreams and stuff like that. Have some lunch with them. Go down to Jackson then, where I also teach. Play maybe some speedball with them a little bit. A game for middle school and stuff.
Thank you.
Right, sorry. Anyway, and then after we leave school there, we go to 99.3 Real Rock, the radio station in Cape, do a live interview with me and the two guys from the band, with Bill and Jello. And then after that, if it ever works out, we're supposed to swing back by Jackson, do the coin toss for them that night, and then go back to Legion, kind of hang out, check all the animatronics. And then Saturday is the show. So
2 full days.
2 full days of Green Jello in Missouri, in St. Gen, in Perryville, in Jackson, in Cape. So we're going to be everywhere.
Yay.
And the kids are going to go crazy up here. I teased it already last year before the summer break. They know what's coming. They're all excited for it because, somebody from Hollywood's coming in, from a band and everything. I said, yes, they're on YouTube. You can look it up, So I said, you can take all your selfies, Snapchats, whatever. He'll sign them, whatever you guys want to do and stuff. So he also said the kids, we're gonna give out a bunch of tickets for the kids and stuff too. So that way them and a friend can go or them and a parent can go. The parents will know the song from the 90s anyway. And the kids are all going to get tickets, some stickers. And he said the night of the show, the ones that show up, we have junior VIP badges for them to get on stage with him to actually perform with him the last song or whatever. So any of the kids that actually do perform and it can play any kind of instrument, they can bring it along that night, get up on the stage with the band Green Jello and rock out, and you can have that in your history forever, and talk about with your grandkids and whatever and ever. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. It's what I've always wanted to do, and it's taken a long time to get it to this point, and I was kind of nervous about, following through and contracts and money and stuff too, and I was like, you're investing in yourself. This is going to be awesome. Just do it and don't worry about it. So
you have always had the imagination.
Well, you were there for the Batman movie. For the Batman movie, all the Taekwondo stuff. So
for those of you who don't know, Lance did a movie. How long ago
that was in 2008.
Oh my! And somehow I got involved.
You were involved. You covered the story in the newspaper, and we had a red carpet premiere at the community center. The Joker was brought in by a cop car. Oh yes, it was awesome. So that was a big success. I mean, 300 people showed up for that. And if 300 people are going to show up for an overweight Batman, this should be pretty easy.
Oh, you were a wonderful Batman. It was such.
It was such a big turnout for that too, So
and for those who do not know, he's also a dynamite karate coach
for 20 years up here in St. John too.
Yeah.
Not just 1 or 2 years, but like 20 years. So
my granddaughter is now 33, and I'll bet she can still break a board.
Well, I thought about almost doing some kind of a fake fight or whatever before the show, just because, and some people that I know that from martial arts that are coming to the show, we could kind of act it out or whatever, before. So
save that for another time.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, this thing is spiraled out the entire summer, so I'm not sure where it's going. Like today, I had the interview
down there. You might
there.
100 things before.
So I'm
You've really built it since you contacted me.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot bigger. So
It sure has. Oh my gosh.
Bigger.
yes.
Those of you who are out in TV land, you cannot see the fact that what looks like a
giant
dead purple dinosaur or something is laying on the floor in front of us there. And
If I put it, I wonder if it would reach up here. Is there a plug in closer? I would plug him back in for you.
I think
there's it looks like a plug.
you have to crawl underneath the table to get it.
Oh, there is. Okay. I was saying the inflatables and stuff too, like Green Jello, part of their show. He has a bunch of inflatables that he puts out into the crowd to have the inflatables crowd surf, which looks kind of cool, and gives all the people in the crowd 100 pool noodles to swing in the air to have fun with. So it's a crazy party. It's coming to Perryville for one night only, and people in town have been like, "Are you serious? Green Jello, the Three Little Pigs song is coming to Perryville." I said, "Yes, believe it. They're coming to town. Strap in and get ready. This is going to be something like you've never seen before coming to Perryville." And I mean, it's one thing. Green Jello is going to be there. That's the big thing. But the whole American Legion Hall, as big as that is going to have, I'm going to have it completely decked out with animatronics, Halloween stuff, and then their green room before they go out on stage. I rent out the Walnut room then too at the Legion, and since Bill was abducted by aliens a long time ago, we'll save that for another story. The whole green.
We will tell that story sometime.
Right. Yes. Well, we'll see if we can get him on speaker or something. But the green room's gonna be decked out too with alien type stuff. A big cake from Heckley's. Heckley's is on board making the cake for it and stuff. Shoffley Beers also is contacted and wants to be a part of it now too. So there's going to be a official event poster and print that is Perryville themed as well by a Perryville native, Phil Balsman, that went off and worked for DC Comics and now freelances in New Jersey and stuff. So he's on board too doing the artwork for it. And So like if I wouldn't have lived in St. Gen though, I wouldn't have met Charles or Chuck that painted me up, that got this whole thing kind of like, I wouldn't have got that call then. So this, I mean, it wouldn't have went this way. So
I should have had that on my phone so Charlie could pull it up.
oh, the past interview?
Yes.
Deep in the archives somewhere.
Yeah, it's there.
That was 2016.
I don't remember what year it was.
2016.
It was
I do.
2015.
2016.
16.
16.
I have your picture in my phone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll have to do a photo here too with the octopus and stuff over there.
If we get the Facebook page up, we can post it on Facebook.
I'll tag you in there later. So
That was amazing. He did a great job.
that took 3 hours to do. So that's why I got noticed then too, because I knew that the band that I was doing VIP with, I knew when he saw that band member was just going to freak out, and he did. So that's why I was pulled backstage and got to do that whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be amazing, and the kids up here in St. John are going to freak out whenever we bring in a Hollywood rock star, and he's going to sign autographs for them and stuff too. And if the school does do green Jello for dessert that day in the cafeteria, it'll be awesome. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that through. So, Dr. Mercer's really helpful on that too. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So,
Oh, hallelujah.
so I wasn't sure. Did you ladies want to come down and enjoy the show? I have passes for you if you want to go. Press passes too. So you
They'll be up on stage.
we can get you up on stage too if you want. That's fine. You can plug in, bring your guitar or whatever, or your recorder. It doesn't matter. We'll put you up there. So, but I do have passes for you if you want them and stuff too. So if you want to go,
So,
Yeah, that's
plug them back in.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to get the inflatable inflated.
This doesn't happen every show. This is something real
That's why I
different.
came here.
Yeah.
I wanted to add a little extra spice to it.
Okay, I think it's that one right there, the gold
Yeah.
one. If you pull up the tab, the other end, isn't it? There you go.
This will be a first.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a first.
Well, that's what I want it to be. First.
I'm gonna push that down with my foot so I'm sure it's in there good.
Good idea. I don't know if those of you who are out there can see that
I'm not sure
Lance.
that one is working. Doesn't even lie.
Oh, maybe they have to have a special place maybe there's a special switch for this one. We're working on a plug-in.
Let's see, there's a little closer. Wow.
It's probably just that one you were using over at the side of the room. Can you go over a little bit to my right, Charlie?
Ah,
Here it comes.
There you go.
Charlie to the rescue.
Something like the blob coming.
yes, yes it is.
The blob.
Thank you, Charlie.
Run, run, run.
Good job, Charlie.
You can't say there's anything ordinary about this show.
No.
I think we do.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my, oh my.
Made it the lip.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe put it on the table.
yeah.
Let's
Let's
put
put
them
them on the
oh,
table.
I'll bring them on the table.
We'll take those things and
Who's gonna see you?
A huge hit.
Listen, there is two more is 3 times as big as this. It's a lot for the day that we go to St. Dan with them in middle school. It's a 14-foot green dragon I bought for the kids.
Oh my goodness.
Totally freak out. I didn't put them up yet, but it's huge. So make it entrance in, we got the giant green dragon, little man's figure of green Jello. It's gonna be awesome.
This is wonderful.
Oh, and
No, let me just go.
he just emptied his plate. Out to it. So there we are.
So,
He's on right now. See? Yeah.
green Jello brings all kinds of inflatables and stuff too, but Lance-a-palooza, which is what I'm calling my event or whatever, Lance-a-palooza will have all kinds of other inflatables, animatronics, props. Something else I thought was really cool. Remember the movie Gremlins?
Yes.
Stripe.
Okay.
There is an animatronic Stripe I just got that he talks, his eyes light up, and says he wants to, get Gizmo
That's the
and stuff.
one you had on Facebook, huh?
One of them, yeah. And there's a haunted sea diver, a werewolf, Chucky, all kinds of stuff. So even if you don't like music, you just want to check out the Halloween stuff, you can still just do that too.
Yeah.
It's $13 in advance. I have advance tickets, so is the Legion. And we're doing it old school too, just like the 90s, a souvenir ticket as well. So after the show or before the show, if you get seeing the band members walking around, they can sign it for you and stuff. There'll be autograph markers and stuff there too for you. So come on out. It's going to be awesome for everybody. All ages show. It's going to be amazing. So
It will
stay
be
tuned.
And
amazing.
that is September.
The 12th and
12th
12th
and
is up here
13th.
at the school, and 13th is the show in Perryville. So, and
That's,
there's going to be out of this world. He calls it the punk rock puppet show because he also calls out different band or people out from the crowd to put on these different giant punk rock puppet heads that they've made out of foam and stuff. So there's like a SpongeBob one, and the characters from the music video and stuff like that. So
The kids will love it.
they're going to go
They will love
crazy.
it.
So I said, you guys can bring your phones and do all your stuff like that, and say you're part of a band that came from Hollywood that had a big hit along in the 90s that your parents know and stuff, and you got to meet them and get their autograph and be on stage with them too. So you can't go wrong. It's only $13 in advance. It's cheap. So anything
So-
at the door.
so we've
That
gone
is
from
very cheap.
history to making history.
That's right.
And I think that that's real appropriate for St. Genevieve somehow.
Well, it's going to be, we talk about history and stuff, so you don't want to miss out on being part of this
Right.
historic event in Perryville. I know it's a little bit down the road, but we're all neighbors and stuff, so.
Right.
And you're a homeboy.
That's right. I was here for 20 years,
Yeah.
and just how the tides come and go, so. But I came back. Thanks for inviting me up here tonight and stuff and hanging out and talking about this. It's going to be
that's
awesome.
great,
So
yeah.
I got passes for you ladies too. Let me know, and you can come down and be rock stars too that night.
Been there, done that.
Oh, I know. But yeah, so that's what's going on with Lance-a-palooza featuring green Jello.
Yeah.
So,
I had to look that up when you told me that. I thought, Green Jello, what?
well, I
that?
sent some stuff to
What
Don
is
about
that?
it too. A little bit. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, here's what's going on, Don." So I got Don on board too a little bit. So he helped me out a little bit and put a few
wait,
things up on sometimes.
Thank you both. I've got a couple other things to share maybe
Okay.
with people. We want to congratulate Ashley Gettinger, who teaches at Bloomsdale Elementary School. She has been named a Regional Teacher of the Year for 2025 and 2026 school year. This program is put on by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and they give these awards to only 38 teachers throughout the whole state. So it's like applause for Ashley and the school she represents. And then we had another winner very recently in St. Genevieve, Carl Kinski, who's one of our prominent local attorneys, is also a poet. He entered an international competition called the Maria W. Faust Sonnet Contest, and he won first place. You know, we have very talented people here.
I know, that's right.
You have very talented people here.
Now, if you want to hear more of his works, he's down at Music, Art, and Love every third Friday. They have open mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there is talented, go to Music, Art, and Love. And
Well, speaking of talent, there's one more thing here. This lady back here in the back,
Okay.
she's a big painter too. I know you ladies are both
oh,
painters.
okay.
I told her to bring her stuff along, but she didn't do it tonight because she was afraid to come up here. But she does some amazing paintings though and stuff. You should,
The people out there
Landscape.
can't see her.
I know. She didn't. She
You
wanted
do
it that way, though.
landscape, all kind of things.
After the show, you should show her a few. She should show you a few
Pictures.
things.
All right.
There she is.
Yeah.
Charlie
You can't escape.
But yeah, she's
I had one more thing I wanted to mention, and that's that the Catholic Youth Ministry Organization, the Life Teen International group, is going to take ownership of Chalmette Winery as of this Friday.
And that's out of Atlanta.
And that's out of Atlanta? Okay. And apparently they're going to turn Chalmette Winery's facilities into a youth retreat camp. And I think we're very happy to welcome them, but it's also kind of sad to see the winery go. It was created about 25 years ago by Hank Johnson, and it has special significance, I think, because we had a long period here when there really wasn't an active winery in the county. And the Hoffmeister family, way back, 40 years ago, I guess,
Quite a while.
created the St. Genevieve Winery, and it was on Merchant Street, what's currently Brick's Winery. And then 25 years later, Hank came in, 20 years later, Hank came in and created Chalmette Winery, and both of them won national prizes for their wines. And the Hoffmeister family and Hank Johnson have been real assets to our community. So it's kind of sad to see the winery close, but I think that having that kind of facility in this county is going to be very good for our community.
It will.
Yeah. I think that's all I have for
Well.
this evening.
that's all that I got over here on the
You're
Lance-a-palooza
empty,
side
I
of
can't
things.
believe that.
Well, I mean, we can talk about more if you want to. I mean, we could talk about pizza, I guess, next. Or who knows? There's all kinds of stuff we can always talk about.
We
So,
have to get him in a Civil War outfit one of these days.
well, you never know.
We do have one more thing. We now have an email address, and I'm going to lift it out to read it to you in case I get it wrong. It's at SGCTV What's New. The capital, the what is capitalized and the new is capitalized at gmail.com, which I think will be an easy way for people to get in touch with us. In addition to using the phone number that we have, which is 1573-883-7675, or calling either of us individually if you happen to know
Right.
our number, I guess. but we're not going to say those out loud.
They can also call City Hall and
Yeah.
they'll get in
Yeah.
touch with us.
And we're hoping that we will have a Facebook page at some time in the fairly near future. And this is a way for you to let us know that you'd like to be on the show. It's a way for you to comment on what you're seeing on the show. And we're hoping that people will make use of this because our knowing what's new isn't really very useful unless we can share it with all of you. So we would love to hear from you about what interests you, what you know that we maybe don't know, and just stay in touch.
Have a good evening.
It's been fun, always.
Always a
Okay.
pleasure in St. John.
So we can tell everyone goodbye.
Yes.
Yep.
Peace.
Have a good evening. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.